and welcome to Ask Bellco, the show that answers your burning financial questions. To have your questions answered on this show, just send them to us using the hashtag AskBellco on social media. Now, on this, our premiere episode, Bellco will answer one of their most popular questions: what is a credit union and how are they different from banks? And here to answer that question is Doug Ferraro, President and CEO of Bellco Credit Union. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
President and CEO. The producers really kind of swung for the fences for our first guest. I'm going to start, maybe this isn't a very technical question, but I've always wondered where the name Bellco came from. Like, did you have the name and then you made the credit union, or is it tied into the company's history, or how does that work?
Bellco Credit Union is the original name. Over 80 years ago, the company was founded by a group of employees from the telephone company in the basement of the telephone building who wanted to form a credit union and started it with the Bell Company's name. So that's where it began.
That makes sense. You know, I always wondered if it had anything to do with, with the telephone company. And then is it something that eventually opened up to wider than those employees, or is it still related to the telephone company, or how did that play out?
So Bellco served exclusively the telephone company's networks of employees until 1983, when the divestiture of the phone companies occurred, and then they began expanding to employees of other companies and then later to communities, so that today we serve roughly employees of 1,000 different companies in 13 different counties around the Denver metro area.
Okay. From what I understand, Bellco Credit Union offers things like savings accounts, checking accounts, loans, mortgages. I gotta say, it seems to me like you're describing a bank. Is Bellco Credit Union a bank?
Bellco Credit Union is similar to a bank in that we provide banking services, but we're a not-for-profit financial cooperative in the structure and the way we're formed. So we're not a bank in that we don't have stockholders. We do provide the same services. Savings accounts are still insured by a federal agency until $250,000 per account. So all the regular savings, CDs, money market accounts, we have all the different loans, and most importantly, those lifeline services, which is the checking account, the debit card, the ATM card, mobile
direct
banking.
Deposit.
That's right.
Yeah. So then, okay, so I got to say though, it still sounds to me like a bank. How is it different? We've heard a lot about how they're similar. How is it different?
Because we are a not-for-profit financial cooperative, there's no shareholder. So all of the money, all of the profit that goes in from the revenues are given back to the membership in one way or another. So in forms of better rates, in the form of lower fees or no fees at all, or in the form of just returning it in the providing more services and better service to the membership.
So it kind of seems to me like the members of the bank, the people who have their money invested in the credit union, are the ones making the decisions on behalf of the credit union. Do I have that right?
That's right. The membership votes in a board of directors. One member, one vote. It's a democracy. And they get to vote a board of directors that represents their interests, that decide the mission and the guidance of the credit unions, that hire and fire the CEO, the decisions that they get to make, and how that credit union is going to be run.
You said one member, one vote. I mean, if I put in 3 times as much money into the credit union as my neighbor, do I get some extra votes for that?
No, all members in a credit union are equal, regardless of how much money they have on deposit or what kind of services they use. As long as they have that basic $25 account, they're all equal and they get the same vote.
It sounds very kind of community-based. It sounds a little less cutthroat, I guess, a little less kind of almighty dollar. If there's a bit of a more kind of a level playing field as far as the direction that the credit union is going to go in.
The entire organization, from the board of directors, the staff, everyone included, is focused only on what's best for our members. That's all that we care about. And that focus is what sets us apart from other institutions, because that means whatever the member's best interest is on every given day, that's what we want to accomplish.
Is it difficult to become a member of Bellco Credit Union, or any credit union for that matter?
Credit unions are different. They're all founded around a common bond of some sort, and they get to decide how they want to define that and how they want to grow and adapt to the changing needs of the world. In Bellco's case, we do have 13 counties that we serve, and everyone who lives or works in those counties can join. And we have other ways of joining, where they can be a member of certain organizations, or they can be an employee of a certain company. So it's easy to join, and I encourage everyone to do that.
You don't have to tell me twice. It sounds like a pretty sweet deal. So it kind of seems like Bellco is Denver based or Colorado based. Would that be fair to say?
Bellco is all Colorado based. It's predominantly Metro Denver, but we have a branch and some coverage in Grand Junction and the West Slope. So we're all around Colorado. But more importantly, we can serve our members anywhere they go, because we have so many digital and other services that can reach out to people regardless of where they are. So we have shared branching. Shared branching means that we have available 5,400 different credit union branches that our members can walk into and do a transaction. And
these are Bellco credit union branches?
No, it's a network of credit unions, so that Bellco members can go in a branch in anywhere in 50 different states and find a credit union that participates in our network of shared branching and walk in and do their business, just as someone from one of their credit unions can walk into any Bellco branch and do business with us, even though they're not a member of our credit union.
So you're saying that a member of Bellco Credit Union could be in, I don't know, Fairbanks, Alaska, and pull up something on their phone or something and see that, I don't know, I'm making this up, but for example, First Alaskan Credit Union, and they can go in there and do business as if it's a Bellco branch?
That's right. And I've used it myself. You can pull up a mobile app anywhere you are. You can find access to any one of over 30,000 surcharge-free ATMs if you're looking for cash, or you can find one of those shared branches.
Wow.
So that is convenience that no bank in the country can offer.
All the way down to that kind of day-to-day bank. Yeah, I can't think of any bank in the country, even the massive nationwide branches that can be in that many places. And that must be through that shared branching, I think you called it, right?
Yes, it's both the ATM and shared branching is offered by the co-op network, and that co-op logo appears anywhere that people can walk in. But again, it's available online or through a mobile app. People can look it up and anywhere they are and probably find something within a couple blocks.
I feel like we talked about a lot of great stuff. Anything else that you want to add before we go today?
Well, Bellco is pretty special, even amongst credit unions, and I think credit unions are great. Everybody should join one. Bellco is pretty special. We're very involved in this community, in the Denver metro community. We have participation and sponsorship in a number of different community organizations. We try to tie ourselves to this community very tightly, and again, we're over an 80-year organization, so we're committed to this community. We'll continue to do so. I'd like to bring up one, Free for Kids at the Denver Art Museum. We sponsor that so that any kid in this community can go to the art museum and see what's going on there and experience what a great organization that is.
I'm so glad we didn't skip that. I felt like that was fascinating. I really learned something. Doug Ferraro, thank you so much for joining us. A real pleasure to have you on our first episode. Well, next month's question: in Denver's hot real estate market, people want to know, is it smarter now to rent or to buy? So tune in and check that out. And don't forget to send us your questions with that hashtag AskBellco on social media. See you next time.